Hello everyone, welcome back to another video for Game of Thrones Winter's Coming. Today we are taking a look at one of the events that has been in the game for probably the longest time, I remember at least, and that's Elite Trials. There has been some questions in the past about how you can actually advance faster in Elite Trials, how you get points, and what you can do to actually optimize your setups and how to get further and so on with this exact game mode. And it's something that's been around fairly long, as I said, and it comes around, I believe it's every 2 weeks or something like that after it finishes that it comes again. And you can see the shop has various things, tier medals, warrior summon 75%, friendship chest, and so on and so on. So getting the points to actually buy stuff and so on is super important. But to understand how it works and understand how things are optimized, we have to look at a few things, and we're going to do that right now. One of the first things to actually look at is the buffs that you get as a choice. I would personally highly recommend you to go with attack buffs whenever they are up, mainly because the points you're getting is based on the damage that you're dealing to the commanders that are in Elite Trials, and because of that you will need to boost your damage output. And even though there's the option of going for crits and prowess and so on as well, the issue with those is that they don't give any stabilized buffs to you. So crits, you can't control how many crits you get in a match against an Elite Trials commander, and the prowess is basically a weaker version of attack buff basically. So if you want to have a higher damage output and higher point gain per hit, then go for the attack buffs. And you can always reroll the buffs as well. Cost 10 blue diamonds and 20, scales up slowly depending on your luck. If it starts getting too expensive, just take the 5% ones. If you can get the 15-25% early on, take those. There's also the option of getting allied commanders boosters, so it basically applies to all types. So if those are the best ones, take it. Otherwise, go for whatever you're suitable with, whatever you have commanders for. I personally just go with anything that comes across at 10-15%. And if I go up high in the rerolls, then I take 5% as well. But 25% is the max and 5% is the lowest, so keep that in mind when you're rolling for the buffs. Another thing that's super important regarding getting higher points is of course your formation setup. And personally I recommend you to put a tank in the middle, in the front, to hopefully also that counters the opposing side. You can put DPS on the sides in the front row. The utility person you can put here in the back. And then also some DPS or disruption CC, whatever is available to you at the back, to kind of increase your basically damage output, but also to and that way actually get your points up. In some situations, if you don't have strong enough tanks, you can be forced to having to use triple front row tanks and then just put a utility and 2 DPS behind. It can be done. It just depends on how strong your commanders is, what your commanders are, and how far you're into the game. But these things can also improve your experience dramatically and your damage output as well. With that also the point distribution. Another tip I have for you, in case your alliance is struggling regarding getting further up in the Elite Trials event, is actually when you reach the point of 6.8, then you stop doing the side commanders where you get buffs, because first of all it takes a lot of attempts to actually start killing them at that point, so the reward you get from unlocking the buff is actually starting to get lower than the actual cost of killing the commander that's in the way for the buff to be unlocked. And furthermore is also the fact that once you get to the 8.1 and above, you start gaining tremendous amounts of points from attacking commanders. And even if you are using a setup where you're basically getting countered by the enemy side, you will still get more points from attacking that commander with a setup where you're getting countered than you would get from actually using a setup where you're countering the commander at this position. So after 6.8 and upwards, don't do the side commanders anymore. The last one is at 6.3. Do that. Take all the buffs that you get, reroll them to attack, and just continue onward and try to push through. And even if you're at the end of the day can't use all of your counter commanders against them, use whatever you have available each day. It's still 3 points. Even if you're getting countered, it still gives you points, and you still get more from doing these commanders than you would get from some of the others, and especially after 8.1, where your point increase is increased dramatically. But yeah, that's kind of the main points. We're going to take a look at the shop before finishing off the video, of course. So lastly, as I said, we are taking a look at the shop. It has various things. Personally, I recommend for people to, if they need it, they can go for the Tyrion medals. They are somewhat possible. They're somewhat possible to get from the dailies and elite events and so on that's coming on the day. If you don't have Riverland Bandits, I would probably also recommend you to actually max that out as fast as possible, especially if you're going to be a rally leader for your alliance, because it might not give you that much utility, but increase for rally size expedition, for example, is 10k here, and also increases health for rally troops. And the siege attack reduction is also nice in case you get attacked on your castle, since that also applies as an attack debuff for the enemy side. So that's also worth getting, and once you have it maxed out, you don't have to buy it anymore, so basically take it if you can. The 75% race boots can be nice in AC, not necessarily a must-have. The 75% summon is something that I would also highly recommend to get. I believe it's one of the few events where you can get it, if not the only one. So the 75% is rather scarce, and it's good to have in case for a do or die UC match, for example, or if you need that last win for an AC or something like that, or if you actually want to just go around murdering things in KvK and need a big army size, that's also possible to use. Friendship chest is always nice to have. The value, of course, goes down once you reach a certain level. Advanced skilled raffle tokens, also super important to get for the dragon. At least it helps you also up with the leveling up with the dragon skills there, and you can save them up faster. Training speeds is always nice to have in case something goes wrong. And yeah, so I personally just go for the Lannister medals, summon, friendship chests, and advanced tokens. And if I get anything extra above that, I go for the boost. Maybe sometimes I go for the training speeds, and also sometimes I go for grain, but that's mostly because my account sometimes lacks grain, and it's always nice to have some extra grain saved up, because healing can be super expensive. But this kind of concludes this video. I hope you learned something new from it. Like and subscribe to the channel if you want to. Comment down below if you have something you want to say, or something you want me to look at. And yeah, if you're new to the game or want to play the game, the link is down in the description below, and so is the Discord group for Game of Thrones that's coming, in case you need some help or want to meet some new friends. And there's also going to be a link for the music, where I get my music from for the video. So I wish you all a lovely weekend, and good luck with the Siege of Winterfell season, and we're going to see each other fairly soon again, I suppose. So take care, bye bye!